Have you ever heard that objection that Hebrews 5:7 is a confirmation that Jesus Christ was not crucified? So what does it say? It says, in the day of his flesh, that is Hebrews 5 and verse 7. It says, in the days of his flesh, he offered up prayers with supplications, with cryings and tears to the one who was able to save him. And he was heard in that he feared. Now, if you hear that portion of scripture at face value, it would imply, it looks like he was heard in that he was delivered. But look at it very critically. Now, for us to get a grasp of what is happening, you must go back to what Hebrews 5:7 is referring to. And that is Matthew chapter number 26 from verse number 36 through to 46. This is now the incidents of Gethsemane. Now, there are two things that you need to understand from the Gethsemane incident. And one is that, Father, let this cup pass from me. So that's the first portion of Hebrews 5:7. He was able to save him. He was able to save him from death, the ability of God. Now, interestingly, Jesus Christ did not end his prayer there. He went further by saying, not my will, but yours be done. That means he has gone from the first position of God's ability to save him from death to the second position. Now that position is God saving him through death. Now allow me to put it in Swahili today. I feel the grace to do so. Now in Matthew 26 verse 36 onward, Yesu anaomba aepushwe. But then, not your will, not my will, but yours be done, brings another idea, which is apitishwe. So, Yesu anaomba hivi, Baba, kama inawezekana, niepushe, lakini naomba unipitishe. So there are two things that need to be understood. And that is now the two things that the writer of Hebrews 5:7 wants to put across. Is that there are two possibilities. One, deliver me from death, or deliver me through death. Now, if you read one verse earlier, so that we can get the context of Hebrews 5:7, we can read Hebrews 5:6, which talks about him being the high priest. Now, a high priest does two things. He offers up prayers and he offers up sacrifices. So Jesus Christ was heard in that he obeyed. Now, how did he obey? Let not my will, but yours be done. And that means that he went through death. That is how he obeyed. Now, how do I know that? Now, if you go one verse after, it says that he is the author of salvation to they that obey. Now, Philippians chapter 2 and verse 8 also says something very powerful. It says that he obeyed unto death. So we can see that there is a reconciliation, there is a harmony between Hebrews 5:7 and Philippians 2 verse 8, which talks about his obedience. So the writer of Hebrews confirms that Jesus Christ obeyed, but the writer of Philippians tells us he obeyed unto death. That means he died. Another evidence that proves that Hebrews 5:7 shows that Jesus Christ was crucified is Hebrews 2:9, which says that he was offered. Hebrews 2:9, and then we can go even further to Hebrews 9 and verse number 26-16, moving forward. So all this confirm that Jesus Christ actually went through the crucifixion. So he was not hard in that he was delivered from death. He was hard in that he was delivered through death. So that means that God heard his prayer, one, by letting him go through death, and raising him up from the dead. That means that the resurrection was the proof that he was heard. The resurrection was the proof that Jesus Christ was heard. There's another perspective too. He prayed so that he can be heard. There is another prayer which Jesus Christ prayed, and that none of his bones were broken. So in that sense, Jesus Christ was heard. In another instance, it says that you did not leave your servant, you did not leave your anointed in Hades. So that's another perspective of how he was heard, in that he was not left, his body was not left in hell. Now that is according to Acts chapter 2 and verse number 24. It says that God raised him up from the dead. God raised him up from the dead, and death could not hold him. God loosed him from the chains or from the pain of death. So we can look at it in such an understanding. So shalom.